Coming up next, I'll give you 9 good questions to ask recruiters. I'll tell you what to do when you're in the wrong role in the right place. We'll take your calls. We'll take your chats. It all starts right now. Coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville. You're joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do that, and how you can get there. It's all about you, because each and every one of you were created specifically to fill a unique role through your work. You are needed, and you have to do it. This isn't an option, in my opinion. Working on purpose is all about you contributing to the world what they need from you. Somebody out there needs you to be you. So as you're joining in the conversation today, let me say a heartfelt thanks. I am Ken. I am your friend. And we'd love for you, as you're watching today's show, if you're enjoying the content, if you're a new visitor, or if you are somebody who's been kind of engaging in the show, would you do us a couple of favors? Number one, like today's show right there below the video window. And we'd also love for you to share it. It's a simple, easy click right there below the video window to share with other people that you think need this message. We want everybody that we can to get clear about what it is that you and they were created to do. This world will be a much, much better place. So join the conversation and also share the conversation. All right, what are some good questions that you need to ask recruiters? Great article from Career Sidekick. From a actual former recruiter. And so I wanted to share these questions because I think this is incredibly valuable. All right. Number one question. We got 9 questions. First question, how long has the position been open? This question will give you a sense of how the search has been going, how many candidates are in the company's pipeline. Number 2, is this position a backfill or is it a newly created position? It's nice to know if this was previously held by somebody else or if it's newly created. Number 3, what can you tell me about the hiring manager? Now, you will obviously interview with this person, but it also might be the person you report directly to. So you want to know as much as you can about that person. Lots of opportunity there for great conversation, connection points. And listen, folks, don't forget that likability could be the X factor in your interview. If you and another candidate are very, very similar, your likability could be the difference maker. Number 4, what are the 3 or 4 most important skills for this job? So this is about making sure whether or not you are a good fit for the job. Number 5, what are some reasons that other candidates haven't been selected? Now, this is something, if the recruiter can tell you, this is an edge, because the hiring manager might not tell you this information. Number 6, how long have you been recruiting in this industry? Now, what you're doing here is you want to get the snapshot, if you will, of the experience of your recruiter. Because again, if they're not as experienced, maybe you don't want them out there shopping you. Number 7, what is your relationship with the hiring manager? The best recruiters will have a direct line of communication with the hiring manager. Number 8, how often do you communicate with this hiring manager? You're going to want to listen for clues here about how often and how they communicate. Again, what are you trying to gauge here? Very similar to the last question with what is your relationship? How often do you communicate? You want to get a sense, does this recruiter have that relationship edge? Because they're out there essentially as your agent representing you. And then 9, what is your company's relationship with the hiring company and how long has your firm to work with them? So again, an extension of the last 2 questions. This is telling you about whether the hiring company trusts this recruiter and is likely to listen to them, engage with them. Because remember, I am all in favor. I get this question a lot. Ken, are you okay with recruiter representing you? Yeah, but I love that article there from Career Sidekick because it really addresses the things that you need to be asking so that, in fact, you get the best person representing you. Remember, relentless preparation leads to reflexive performance. So that's the phrase that I use in my preparation guide that we give, How to Win the Interview. It's a free resource at kencoleman.com. But again, same thing here. Be prepared before you select a recruiter to represent you. Be prepared to ask them the right questions so you can make the best decision. That will work, I promise. 844-747-2577, the number, 844-747-2577. Coming up a little later in the program, I'm going to talk to you about what do you do if you're in the wrong role, but you're in the right place. This is a part of our Should I Quit My Job quiz. Some of you already feel that. I want to walk you through some things you can do to remedy that situation. 844-747-2577 is the number. We'll also get to your questions in the chat room. So as you're watching, maybe you're listening to a caller, question pops up, fire away in the chat window, and we will get to those. We started off with Gail, who joins us in Columbus, Ohio. Gail, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for letting me talk to you today.
Well, I'm thrilled to talk with you. What's up?
Well, a little bit of background. So my husband and I are currently working through baby step 2. So we're only about 6 months remaining until we're officially debt-free.
All right.
I'm currently working with my mother-in-law at a manufacturing facility. I've been here for about 4 years, but took a small break to pursue what I thought was my dream job. Well, that didn't work out. So I came back to the manufacturing facility under the verbal agreement with my mother-in-law that I would work for them for an additional 5 years. Okay. So we're 2 years in of the 5, about halfway through. Uh-oh. And I'm very unfulfilled, but I'm also feeling a little bit stuck. So I'm just looking for some clarity if I should just, buckle down and stick with through the 5 years, get through baby step 2 and baby step 3, and then branch out, or if it's okay to start looking at taking some classes or learning a new field at the same time.
Yeah, well, let me answer the easiest question first. Yes, if you have the time and the money to be able to take some classes and get yourself qualified for the next step, go ahead and do that. And let me answer the next question I'm going to answer is you should stay there until you have something else to step into, okay? Now, let's go back to, because I understand why you're stuck, but you're stuck for 2 reasons. 1, you're not doing the work you like, and 2, or that you love, and then 2, you are not, you're in a really sticky situation because you made a commitment to your mother-in-law. So that
I know.
I'm going to break that one down a little bit, okay? Because that's the stickiest, most complex. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's go back to what you thought was the dream job. What was it, and why didn't it work out? Give me the quick answer there.
Okay, well, it was investigations, and unfortunately, the environment just wasn't great. It zapped the energy from me. I was gone from about 6:30 in the morning till after 6 at night. It was a very long commute, and it was just draining.
Okay, now let me ask you this. What kind of investigation are you talking about? Private investigation?
It was a death investigation. I worked at the coroner's office.
Oh, okay. All right. Is that a mandated 12-hour day, or you just felt the pressure to do that?
Well, it was not a mandated 12-hour day. It just was the commute time coupled with the full 8-hour day and then the commute time back.
All right, let me ask you this. So let's just have some fun here. Let's go back for a moment. Let's hit rewind and go back. What if you didn't have a long commute? And what if you were working a normal 8-hour day? How would that be different?
I'm not certain. I hadn't really thought through that. I had kind of closed the door in that department.
I know, but I don't want you to, because we've got to go back. Before we can think about going forward, you actually have some clues. With a lot of callers, I have to kind of get from them what they like to do, what they love to do, what they're good at, the results that matter. You identified something as a dream job, and I didn't hear anything about the work itself being the problem. It's not, unless I'm missing something. Did you go into that work investigating deaths for the coroner and all of a sudden go, oh, I don't like anything about this, or I really like it, but it's a really long commute, which makes for an awful day and it's too much and I'm overwhelmed?
It just fell a little flat, I guess would be the best example.
Okay, great. So why did you go into it? Let's keep investigating. Why did you think that you were going to love it? Why did you think it was a dream job?
The problem solving, the puzzles, yes.
Great. So let me ask you this. Was there any juice for you when you were actually doing the investigation part?
Less there, no.
Okay. So so now we're really getting somewhere. What do you think if I just gave it to you tomorrow, knowing you wouldn't fail, knowing that you'd really like it, you wouldn't have to commit to it forever, but we're going to have a fun adventure here. What kind of problems would you want to try solving? What investigation, what puzzles would you want to solve? Knowing there's no risk. Let your heart answer that. Go, Gail.
I'm actually still figuring that out, to be honest with you.
Hold on a second. I know, but I want you to just have fun with me. You called me. This is a no-risk answer. You could change it 30 seconds from now. I don't care. I want you to take a stab. What do you think you would love to do when it comes to puzzle solving, problem solving, troubleshooting? What is it? Tell me what you'd love to try. Just say that.
I'd like to try into systems and integrative engineering. It's geared more towards safety and figuring out maybe better ways to do things safer to prevent workplace injuries and fatalities.
Now, Gail, did you see how effortless that came out of your mouth? It was just, once I took the absolute certainty away, just what would you try, Gail? Then you were like, you just let it go. It just came out. And I asked you about that the first time. You went, well, I haven't figured it out yet, Ken. Wait a second. What happened? What changed? I took away the certainty and I took away the risk and I engaged your heart. Do you see the difference? And your heart just went, boop, there it is. I'd like to try this. So, Gail, we're not committing to that. I don't want you to hang up this phone and think, well, that's what I'm committing to right there. I just told Ken, so now I got to do it. No, we're going to actually investigate that. We're going to actually sit down with people who do that work. This is the beginning of the proximity principle, which says in order to do what Gail wants to do, she's got to be around people that are doing it in places where it's happening. Good news, Gail. You got a steady job with the mother-in-law. You're not in any kind of financial stress or anything. This is the time to go kick the tires a little bit. Go hang out with some people. Go do some online research. And here's what you're doing. You're clarifying what's involved in getting qualified, how much that's going to cost, and how long that's going to take. You're also clarifying what's involved during this day. What does a day look like for a person who does this? Does that sound like it's going to fire me up, or does it sound like it's going to suck the life out of me? Gail, that's all you've got to do. And in exploring this opportunity, if it's not the thing, it's still taking you further down the path towards the thing. Because you know why you want to do that. Give me in like 20 seconds or less why you're interested in what you just described for our audience.
Well, that's exactly that. It's a problem is being presented, and if we just think about it and tinker with it, we can find a better way of doing it, a better and a safer way of doing it.
Right, but why are you motivated to solve that particular problem? Tell me the why. Go a step deeper.
The why? So nobody has to go to work and come back with an injury or not come back at all.
There you go. How does that feel when you say that?
Terrifying, and also difficult because of the 5-year verbal curve.
Okay, I'll get to. Okay, now listen. I'm taking longer with you because you already changed direction on me. Forget the 5-year commitment. How does that feel? If I give you that chance tomorrow and it works, how does that feel?
It's exciting.
It's exciting. Now, so what kind of relationship do you have with your mother-in-law?
I'm very fortunate. We have a great relationship.
All right, that's what I was hoping for, because the great relationship allows you to sit down with her. Not today, not tomorrow, but after you have tremendous clarity on what your next step is. Okay? So I want you to chase the idea that you threw at me today and really learn about it and then confirm it, okay, by looking at, is this in my sweet spot? Does it allow me to use what I do best? Does it allow me to do work that I really enjoy? Does it create a result that matters to me? You got that, right, Gail? It's pretty simple, right?
Yes.
That's talent, passion, and mission. Once we confirm that and we know, then you sit down with the hubs and you go, okay, this is what I want to do. I got to sit down and talk to mom. And I think you both sit down with her. That's what I think. And I think you go, here's the deal. I know I came back and I made the commitment, but this is what's on my heart. This is why it's on my heart. And this is how I'm going to get there. And this involves probably getting out of here before the 5 years. I know it feels like I'm breaking a commitment, and I'm asking you to help me not break a commitment by releasing me from that commitment. See, the only way you don't break the commitment is by her releasing you. That's what's going to take.
Okay.
And I think you do it with honor and respect, and I hope that she's going to go, of course, Gail, I'm going to release you because you've given her a a very clear reason that is very important to you and you've explained it, and I hopefully in a healthy relationship, she's going to go, I don't want to stand in the way of your dreams. Mm-hmm. And I think you and your husband unite on that. Now, I'm going to tell you something, because I know the audience is thinking what you're thinking. Well, what if she doesn't receive it well? Well, that's when you and your husband have to decide, what are we going to do here? Mm-hmm. Are we going to put our life on hold to keep mom happy? Because if mom, because I'm going to tell you this, presented that way, any family member needs to go, okay, I'm disappointed because I want you around, but boy, this is a great reason for us to part ways. If you're going to leave me, I want you to leave me to do something you love. She should handle it the right way. If she doesn't, you'll have to decide what's most important. I'm not going to get in the way of your relationships. But if it were me, I would not ever put my life on hold for someone else's family member's opinion. This is not a legal commitment. It's not something that's irreversible. So I think it should be easily reversed, and I would like her to release you. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Danielle, who's on the line in Riverside, California. Danielle, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Happy to. What's up?
I'm trying to figure out how to better help my husband. He was at his job for almost 7 years. He worked for a very well-known company, and the pay was good. Unfortunately, the hours weren't good, and he was spending about 4 hours a day just commuting to and from work.
Oh.
And yeah, it was horrible. It was miserable. Mm-hmm. And then he wouldn't have weekends off. He didn't have a normal Monday through Friday schedule, and it just made our family life, our home life, a lot more complicated. Yeah. And so about a couple of years ago, he started actively looking for a job closer to home. And so he recently found one, and he's already started. It is much closer to home. I think his drive is about 20 minutes going and 20 minutes coming.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's great. The problem now is I'm a little worried because he comes home and he's not really happy with the management, and he's kind of having a hard time because he's doing a lot more physical work at his new job. Mm-hmm. And so my worry is that he's regretting quitting his last job. And sometimes I think he forgets how miserable he was there. And not with the job itself. The job itself there was great. The management was great. But now it was just a drive that was really bad.
Yeah, so he's traded off a great work environment for a better personal schedule. And and you feel like he's regretting it. Do you know that he's regretting it? These words have come out of his mouth? He's kind of thinking, I mean, on top of that, he's also taken a $7 an hour pay cut. Oh,
which is pretty huge. So I think he's kind of like, well, did I make the right decision?
Yes. Well, here's the deal. Here's what you have to encourage him with. Hey, babe, you made the right temporary decision. He's got to start looking at this as temporary. Okay. He does not owe this company the rest of his life. Okay? Yeah. And so he made the move. It's poor management. It's a pay cut. He did it. We now have had enough time in there where he goes, okay, I don't regret my move, but I'm not going to stay here. So I think regret needs to be repositioned here too. We only regret the move that he made if he stays here long term. But he needs to get I would encourage him to go, hey, you're not a bad guy if you leave these people. Let's start looking for something right now. Here's the good news. He has the model. He knows exactly what the last company had that he really likes. I don't believe that he can't find that in Riverside near you all. So he's looking for that, something very similar to that. And who cares? And if he leaves, and if somebody says to him, well, because I know what happens with people like your husband who's been at one place a long time, they go somewhere else, and he feels like he's going to look like a shifty jerk if he leaves really early after starting.
Right.
Am I right?
Right.
Yeah. So here's the deal.
Exactly.
He just says, look, it's not a great fit. I moved because I had a great job over here, but it was a 4-hour commute. And so it just wasn't good for family life. So I made this move, and it's just not a good fit. And I kind of stepped into a situation where the culture's totally different. It's not the greatest of fits, but I did it to be close to the family, and I now realize I made the mistake. That's why I'm here to work with you guys. I've done my research. You're a great culture. This is what I want to do. He doesn't have to spin anything. That's just a fact. So he needs to be looking for something else and something similar to what he did before or something better than what he did before. So how you encourage him is your question. And what you do is you cast a vision for him and go, hey, you did the right thing. You are much happier in this area of your life. We sacrificed a little bit in this area. Now that we've made the move closer, so he cut the cord, right? And he got back closer to home, which is good for you, good for the kids, good for him and his heart. Now we just need to finish the process. And let's look for something that is in his sweet spot in Riverside or in the nearby area where the commute is really great and he's really enjoying the work. So that's how you encourage him and say, hey, you don't have to stay here. This is not a life sentence. It's like saying, well, my husband made a bad job decision. What do I tell him? Leave. You don't have to stay there. Why on God's green earth would you compound a bad decision? All right, listen, I'm going to get to your chats here in a second, but I got to address this because we get this all the time. Okay, now listen to me, folks. When we make a decision that doesn't work out, so let's not even call it a bad decision because I don't want anybody to feel bad right now. I want to set you free. All right, here we go. This is like her husband. This is like Danielle's husband. Makes a decision. Clear decision. There was a clear why. I'm going to leave this job to take a job closer to home because the commute's killing me and my family and I just don't ever see my kids and my heart's breaking. Okay. That's a great why. It's a really good why. Picks a place, it doesn't work out. Just like you people can snow a hiring manager, hiring managers can snow you. You can go through the whole process and you go, boy, this guy is going to be the greatest leader I've ever worked under in my life. And you get there and he's a total tool. All right, so what do we do? Okay, maybe I didn't do my homework. I didn't check, references on this guy or the culture, whatever. Here's the point. The decision didn't work out. So we could call it that. It didn't work out. So what do we do? Well, I consider myself to be a good human being, so I'm going to stay here for at least a year and put up with all the acidic feelings that I have because I know I'm not happy. But I'm a good person. I'm miserable, Ken. But by golly, I'm a good person and I'm loyal and I'm going to stay committed to the crap process. Wait a second. You trying to be a good person, you're not giving 100% to the company. You think you're operating at maximum output if your attitude sucks? Do you think you are? Do you think you're giving your best to the company when you're not happy? I got breaking news for you. You're not. So do yourself a favor and do them a favor and acknowledge it's not a good fit. You are not a flake. And you move on. Don't compound a bad situation or bad decision by staying there. It does nothing for anybody. I hope that frees your mind. All right, here we go. We're moving fast today. Going to the chat room, Kenneth Roman. Hello, Ken. Hello, Kenneth. He writes, I have a connection that is willing to hand my resume to the recruiter at his workplace, but we've only very briefly met. What endorsement sentence can I use under the Who I Know section? Well, here's the deal. You got to go to that guy and go, look, I know we've just met. Would you be willing to give me an endorsement statement if I connect you to some people that know me because you're the recruiter? And so that's how you go about this. But again, let's work a little harder. Like this isn't your only option. You got to think about all the mutual connections you have. You start thinking about a spider web and you think close personal network, that's friends and family. Then let's expand out into acquaintances, people that we do social things with. Anybody that you know knows somebody that works at that company. So that's what we're looking for. And then we have an insider giving you an endorsement statement. That's how that works. Go back to my resume guide at kencoleman.com. Go back and read it. I tell you exactly what to do, how to do it, and why to do it. Shanna Salaska Clark writes in, hey, Ken, my passion is working with service therapy dogs, and my talent is writing, and they lead me to volunteer work, but nothing that pays much of anything. What can I do to actually make more money? Okay, this is one where, Shanna, I really appreciate the question. I really want you to call the show. I'm going to give you a little something here, but I can't answer a question like this in a chat room because I don't have enough coming back to me. Okay. I appreciate that you're trying to work the sweet spot. What do you do best? That's what you put down as writing. That means you are verbally gifted, but let's look at some other things you do very, very well. What do you do best? These are abilities and qualities, hard skills, soft skills. You need a bigger list. There's at least 3 or 4 things that you do better than anything else that you do. Let's get that list. What do you love to do most? Working with service, therapy dogs. Let's expand that list a little bit, okay? You can stay in that area, but let's expand it a little bit. And then what results matter to you? I want to know why you love working with therapy dogs and service dogs. Is it the dogs themselves? Is it what they do, the results, what they do? We need to figure that out, and you need a better list. And we look at that and we go, okay, wait a second. How can I do that in the workplace? And I can tell you this, there's a way to get paid, but call me. Literally call me, 844-747-2577. See if we can get you in later in the show. If not, call another day, and I can help you get there. Let's take one more. Just Moni. What is the minimum amount of time you should stay in a company before leaving if it is not fulfilling? When should you let them know what you're applying? When should you let them know that you are applying? Okay, I just did a whole rant on this, Just Moni. So if you're just joining us, hit the rewind button. I just did a rant on that. So I have officially driven that nail through the wood. And so I'll answer your second question. When should you let them know that you're applying to other places? I wouldn't let them know that I'm applying to other places. And a lot of companies, that'll get you a swift kick right out the door. You don't owe them that I'm applying, but I've been very clear on what I believe is the right way to do this. You don't need to tell them you're applying, but I would not steal from them by going and doing job interviews on their time. You take your lunch hour for interviews, even if you got to adjust that lunch hour to later in the day. If they give you an hour, you take that hour. It's your time. You can do the job interview then. Don't call in sick and lie to them. Okay, that's my policy there. But I would not mention that I'm leaving until it's time to leave. Unless, again, financially, you're not worried about what happens to you. If you tell them and they're like, oh, you're leaving me? Well, great. Why don't you go ahead and clean your desk out today? We'd appreciate that. Let's use our common sense there. 844-747-2577. Let's go into, I'm going to teach on this and then we'll get to Michael, who's up next. So I want to tell you about a great resource right now that's absolutely free. So I have no problem telling you about products and things that we're going to be developing for you. But this is a free resource. So I got the extra juice talking about things that I give you for free. And this thing is going crazy. It's the Should I Quit My Job quiz. And this is so fun because we've had thousands and thousands and thousands of people jump on this in about a week and a half, 2 weeks time. It's at kencoleman.com. And it's 20 questions, take you less than 3 minutes, and you're going to get one of 4 different results. You're in the right role in the right place. That means you're in your sweet spot. Okay, so I doubt you're taking this quiz if you're that person. But nonetheless, we walk you through it. The second place you could be in is you're in the wrong role in the right place. The third is you're in the right role in the wrong place, or you're in the wrong place, wrong role. Now, I'm going to walk through these over the next few days, but I'm going to talk today about what do you do when you're in the wrong role in the right place. So what that means is great company, great culture, good people, good leadership. You're just not in the right seat on the bus, right? Something's off. Either you're not really in a place where you're using what you do best, your talents, or you're really good at it, but the actual work itself, there's no connection. So or it's not creating a result, right? So think talent, what I do best, passion, what I love to do, results, which is mission. What's my mission? Well, that's the results that I really care about. Okay, so that's your 3-part grid. All right, now, so when you're in the wrong role because one of those 3 or all 3 or 2 or 3 are not in alignment, then you're in the wrong role in the right place. What do you do? So the first thing I want you to do is start scanning the actual company. You're in. They like you. You're in. You know everybody. Or if you don't know everybody, you know somebody that knows somebody. You can get to anybody in the company. Start to look around. Are there better roles that are available or might be available in the future that align and get you in your sweet spot? It'll allow you to do what you do best, to do what you love to do most, and create results that matter deeply to you. Okay, so we're looking for that. Second thing is, once you begin to find those things or see them, you've got to communicate to your leader and confirm what that path might be. So you're already in. You're not saying, hey, I want to quit. You're just going, I don't know that this is the best fit for me. And so I've looked at this role over here, and I'm really interested because I think it's a better fit for me and for the company. It's a win-win. But you're my leader. Can we begin to discuss what that might look like? Because I would like to throw my hat in the ring. I'd like to step into that. That's if it's available or it might come available. What would be the procedure? You want to communicate clearly here, okay? And then, of course, we got to always look at experience and education. What experience or education, and I'm not saying go to college, I'm saying what do you need to learn and do? That's experience and education to be qualified for that role internally. And then after you have got a path from them on what that would look like, you've actually gone and done the work that you need to do. Okay, that means you got the learning, you got the experience, and then you come back and you follow back up with that leader and say, hey, I've done what you've told me to do. I'm ready to go. And that's a simple process for getting in the right role in the right place. When you're in the wrong role in the right place, there's hope. There's always a path. And that's why I'm here to help you. By the way, should I quit my job quiz? Again, go get it. KenColeman.com. I can't even think. 3 minutes or less and 20 questions. It's super effective. It's going to print out your results and then what to do. We have additional articles for each one of those results that'll really, really help you. So go get that. It's an awesome free quiz. And by the way, if you don't need it, but you know somebody that does, share the quiz. Super helpful. 844-747-2577. This train keeps on rolling. Our next stop, Richmond, Virginia. Oh, Stacey Coleman and I spent a year and a half in that lovely city when I worked for the governor of Virginia. Michael joins us there in Richmond. Michael, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure, Michael. What's up?
So, Ken, I'm 29 years old. I recently medically retired from the military.
Okay.
And I have no idea what I want to do next. And I've been sitting at my house for a couple months, and I'm getting bored.
Yeah, I'll bet, man. Well, let me just start by saying on behalf of everybody on the Ken Coleman Show team, thank you for your service. You're a great American.
Thank you for your support.
Yes, sir. So, I think you have some ideas. You feel right now as though, Ken, I have no idea what I want to do, but I think you have some ideas and some clues. And so before we dive in too deep, I'm just curious. When I free you up to just share with me what small clues you may have from your past, maybe something you did in the military that you really enjoyed, and you go, I wonder if I could do that in the private sector. What comes to your mind, top of mind, just like that?
Well, I definitely enjoy public service. Thought about federal employment. I'm very good at organizing admin work, but I don't know if I really want to do that, or is it just what I'm willing to do because I already know about it and I've done it before.
Yeah, well, you jumped all over the map on me. All right, now we're going to go at this round number 2, okay? And I'm boxing your fears and your doubts. I can hear it in your voice.
Yes.
All right. Now, that's huge. Your bravery to admit that. Now, you got to know that you're overcome with some fear and doubt right now. So before we go to round 2, I want to know what's the fear, what's the doubt that's holding you back from answering me in a very clear fashion. Tell me, specifically as you can. What are you afraid of? What are you doubting?
So I don't want to go into something and then be like, oh, I don't want to do this like in a couple months.
Perfect. So your fear is, I don't want to make a mistake, man, and do the wrong thing. All right. Now, Michael, let's make fun of your fear. Can we do that?
Yes, sure
okay,
can.
Perfect. Because we're not making fun of you. We're making fun of your fear. Your fear is on your shoulder right now, and your fear is a liar. And I'm about ready to humiliate and deconstruct that punk. You ready? Here we go.
Yes.
What if you picked the wrong thing and you got into it 2 or 3 months in and you realize, oh, I made a mistake? What would be the worst possible thing that could happen?
The worst possible thing could be keep doing something I don't like, or I could just jump to the next thing.
Oh, wait a second. Wait. So you're telling me if the thing you're most afraid of comes true, that you just might have to suffer a little bit of embarrassment, your pride hurt a little bit to tell your friends you made the wrong choice, and then you got to deal with some confrontation that you probably don't want to deal with by walking to that leader going, I'm out. It didn't work out for me. Am I hitting the nerve, Michael?
Yes, you are.
Wow, that really is scary. I got to tell you, I have no idea how you would possibly overcome that. Being one of our honorable servicemen who has dealt with medical problems, and you've overcome that. How in the world would you overcome that, Michael? I got to tell you, I have no answer for you. I am officially stumped, Michael. What are we going to do? Michael, you detect the sarcasm, I hope.
Yes, I do.
All right. Now, enough with that nonsense. Michael, what have you always wondered about doing? What would you love to try tomorrow? Just try it because you know you're good at it and you actually enjoy this kind of work. And maybe it creates results that give you some pride. Michael, if I could give it to you tomorrow, fun adventure, no embarrassment, no failure, what would you try? Michael, tell us.
Well, one of my hobbies is sharing my experiences with my family on YouTube, and it's just a hobby. And I know it could turn into a career in the future, but I just feel like I need to do something else right now.
Okay, Michael, what would you do on YouTube? Let's just go there. What would you do? You start making videos today because you're bored. You got nothing else to do. So why don't you make a couple videos today? What would you do?
I would just share my experiences with my beautiful family, maybe some recipes, my experiences going to restaurants, traveling.
Fantastic.
Family stuff.
Michael, I love to cook. I love to eat. What's one recipe that you would share with me right now over FaceTime? What would it be?
My guacamole. It's bomb.
Oh my gosh, I love guacamole. So you would make a video and you would say, this guacamole is as good as any guacamole that you're ever going to have. Right, Michael?
Yes, I would.
All right. Now, Michael, why wouldn't you try that today? So let's do two things. Number one, I want you to launch a YouTube page today, and I want you to just start sharing videos until you figure out exactly what you want. Because here's the deal. You don't need the income per se right now. You just need to get some juice again. All right. So let's start the YouTube videos and let's do that. But let's answer the question without doubtful Michael here. Michael, what would you do for pay today? It's a gig that you know you enjoy. It's administrative, it's organizing, it's details, whatever. It's whatever it is. What would you do tomorrow for a job, 9 to 5? You know you would enjoy the work. What would you do?
I would love to do administrative stuff in the field of professional development, helping people within an organization go to school and get training for professional development. It's part of what I did in the military that I enjoyed.
Now, Michael, how hard was that? It
wasn't hard.
Well, it was hard for me. Yeah, I got to tell you, I had to dig deep, but that's why I do the Ken Coleman Show. I'm not going to stop doing this. Now, Michael, you got two things to do right now. Number one, you're in the best job economy in the history of the United States. 3.4%, 3.5% unemployment, more jobs available than people unemployed. You are a distinguished member of our military. You have got a lot of experience and a lot of skill that you can offer, and you know the kind of work you want to do. You just said it beautifully. Michael, look for it around you in Richmond. You know what you want to do. Look for it and go do it. And then let's also start doing some YouTube stuff. And maybe you launch a little guacamole company 2 years down the road. Who knows? But Michael, it's time for you to get going.
Yes.
Can you give me a hoo-ah or something a little bit more exciting, Michael? Michael, it's time to get going.
Hoo-ah.
Boy, I appreciate you, man. He's a great American. Listen, folks, let me tell you what was going on there. I did a little exercise there that I hope some of you that are watching today appreciate because I did it for you, not just Michael. You have got to identify your fear. You've got to then expose that it's a lie. You break down the voice of fear and what is it saying? Make it sound silly. And when you see that and you get on the other side of that, clarity is waiting for you. Well, my time is almost up. But before I let you go, I want you to know that you do matter. You do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.